We get blinded by the suit, the smile, and the high energy charm. But personality is just the paint. Character is the foundation. Most people ignore the subtle cracks until the whole house collapses on them. 99% miss the last part, and if you do, you're essentially inviting a social chameleon to destroy your peace. If you stop now, you risk a lifetime of betrayal by someone you thought you knew. Stress signals. When we first meet someone, our brains are in a state of high-speed, thin slicing. We are processing thousands of data points, vocal pitch, hand gestures, eye contact, to decide if this person is a friend or a foe. But here's the problem. Most men are very good at managing their front stage persona. They know how to send high warmth and high competence cues when things are going well. To truly test a man's character, you have to look for the first thing, how he reacts when the social script breaks. I'm talking about the moment of limbic friction. Limbic friction happens when there is a gap between what someone wants and what is actually happening. Maybe the restaurant lost the reservation, or his phone battery died when he needed it most, or someone cut him off in traffic. In these micro moments, the prefrontal cortex, the rational, polite part of the brain, momentarily goes offline, and the amygdala, the emotional center, takes over. This is the truth window. Notice his micro expressions. Does he show a flash of contempt? In our lab, we found that contempt is the single most dangerous emotion in a relationship. It's a one-sided mouth pull, a slight sneer. It signals that he feels superior to the situation or the person involved. If a man reacts to a minor inconvenience with a micro expression of contempt or a sudden vocal sharpness, he is telling you how he will eventually treat you when the honeymoon phase is over. Character isn't found in how he treats you on a perfect date. It's found in how he treats the uncontrollable variables of life. Does he become a social blamer? Does he immediately look for someone to punish for the mistake? This signals a lack of internal accountability. A man of high character uses self-regulation cues. He might take a deep breath, his pupils might dilate as he processes the stress, but he maintains vocal warmth. We also have to look at vocal thinness. When a man is under pressure, does his voice become tight and high-pitched? This is a sign of low emotional resilience. It means he hasn't mastered his own nervous system. If he can't handle a late appetizer without losing his vocal authority, how is he going to handle a real-life crisis? Character is the ability to maintain congruence between your values and your actions, even when the environment is chaotic. If his politeness is just a mask, it will slip during these moments of friction. That slip is your most valuable data point. I want you to pay attention to the recovery time. Everyone gets frustrated, but a man of character has a fast emotional recovery. He acknowledges the stress, resolves the friction, and returns to a state of open body language. He doesn't hold the social grudge. If he stays in a state of negative signaling for hours after a minor mishap, he is showing you that he has a high neuroticism score. He will use his emotions to hold the environment hostage. This is a massive red flag for long-term character. You want a man who is an anchor, not a sail that gets blown away by every minor breeze. Character is also revealed in the power of the pivot. When things go wrong, does he pivot toward a solution or does he pivot toward dominance? Some men use stress as an excuse to exert power over others. They use expansive aggression, taking up too much space, pointing fingers, raising their volume to drown out others. This is a status play, not a character strength. A luxury man, a man of high character, knows that true status is quiet authority. He doesn't need to diminish others to feel big. He stays in collaborative mode even when he's annoyed. Status cues. The second thing you must notice is how he treats people who can do absolutely nothing for him. In behavioral science, we call this situational empathy. Most people are selective connectors. They are warm and engaging with people they perceive as high status or useful, but they become socially invisible to those they deem low status, like the waiter, the janitor, or the person struggling with their bags in the lobby. This is the ultimate test of moral alignment. If his kindness is transactional, it isn't kindness, it's manipulation. Watch his body orientation when he interacts with service staff. Does he give them frontal heart fold, turning his torso fully toward them, or does he give them the shoulder block? Turning your body away while speaking to someone is a dismissal cue. It signals that you don't value their presence. A man of high character realizes that every human interaction is a connection opportunity. He uses eye contact and vocal warmth with everyone, regardless of their social capital. This shows that his character is intrinsic, not performative. We also look at the interruption pattern. Does he interrupt people he perceives as below him? Does he talk over the person explaining the menu? This signals high dominance and low empathy. In our research, we found that men who are chronic interrupters often have a fixed mindset. They aren't looking to learn, they are looking to win the interaction. A man of character is a high-level listener. He uses back-channeling cues, nods, and slight leans to show that he values the other person's input. He realizes that listening is a status signal. Notice the credit exchange. When something goes well, does he take all the credit or does he deflect it toward others? The team really pulled this off, or I had a lot of help with this. This is a sign of internal security. A man who needs to be the sole hero of every story is a man who is internally fragile. He is using his achievements to fill a value gap in his soul, but a man of character is already full. He doesn't need to hoard the dopamine of praise. He is happy to share the social reward with everyone around him. There is also the gossip test. How does he speak about people who aren't in the room? If a man shares reputational smears about his friends or colleagues to make himself look better, he is showing you his shadow side. In people science, we call this spontaneous trait transference. Whatever he says about others, people will eventually associate with him. If he calls his boss disloyal, he is signaling his own potential for disloyalty. A man of character treats the absent with the same respect as the present. He doesn't use social sabotage to climb the ladder. Finally, watch for the consistency of cues. Does his behavior change depending on who is watching? If he is a saint in front of your parents, but a tyrant when you're alone with him at a drive-thru, he is a social chameleon. He is gaming the system. Character is predictable reliability. You want a man whose non-verbal brand is the same in the boardroom as it is in the basement. This consistency is the only way to build deep trust. If you can't predict his character, you can't build a life with him. You're just waiting for the next mask to drop. Reliability loops. Once you've observed his stress signals and his status cues, you need to look at the vulnerability loop. Character isn't just about being strong, it's about the courage to be seen. In our lab, we define a vulnerability loop as a two-step process. Step 1, someone shares a micro-vulnerability, a mistake, a fear, a quirky truth. Step 2, the other person signals acceptance. To test a man's character, notice how he handles your vulnerability, and more importantly, how he handles his own. Does he have a fortress mindset? Does he refuse to admit when he's wrong? A man who cannot say, "I made a mistake," is a man who is structurally weak. He is afraid that if he admits to a flaw, his entire status architecture will collapse. This leads to gaslighting cues. He will try to change your perception of reality to protect his ego. But a man of character has internal authority. He knows that admitting a mistake doesn't diminish his value. It increases his credibility. He closes the vulnerability loop with honesty, which is the oxygen of a healthy connection. Watch how he reacts to your success. This is a counterintuitive character test. Most people think character is shown in how you support someone during a failure, but social science shows that capitalizing how you react to someone's good news is a better predictor of long-term stability. When you share a win, does he give you active, constructive feedback? Does he ask follow-up questions? Does his vocal pitch rise with genuine excitement? Or does he kill the joy by pointing out a potential downside or one-upping you with his own news? A man who cannot celebrate you without feeling diminished is a man with a scarcity mindset. He sees your light as a threat to his own. This will eventually lead to subtle sabotage in your relationship. But a man of character has an abundance mindset. He realizes that a rising tide lifts all boats. Your success is his success. He doesn't need to compete with you because he is aligned with you. This mutual expansion is the hallmark of a high-value partnership. He is your secure base from which you can both fly higher. Notice the boundary response. When you say no to something, even something small like a movie choice or a dinner time, how does he react? Does he use guilt-tripping cues? "Oh, I guess we'll just do what you want then." Or does he respect the boundary with neutrality? A man of character understands that no is a complete sentence. He doesn't see your boundaries as a challenge to his dominance. He sees them as data points on how to love and respect you better. He values your autonomy as much as his own. Finally, look for the follow-through. In our research, we call this predictable reliability. Does he do what he says he's going to do when he says he's going to do it? If he is high warmth but low reliability, always promising the world but never delivering, he is socially volatile. He is self-signaling that his words have no weight. A man of character realizes that his word is his bond. He would rather underpromise and overdeliver than the other way around. This integrity of action is the most luxurious trait a man can have. It provides the safety that allows a relationship to truly bloom. Final truth: character is not a snapshot. It's a feature film. It is the accumulated wealth of 1,000 small choices. You cannot fix a man's character any more than you can fix the foundation of a skyscraper once it's already built. You have to observe it for what it is. By paying attention to these two things, his reaction to stress and his treatment of those with no status, you are decoding his moral blueprint. You are seeing the man behind the mask. True social intelligence is the ability to see the truth before it becomes painful. It's about trusting the science of cues over the art of charm. When you find a man who stays grounded in stress, kind in status, and reliable in action, you have found a luxury soul. You have found someone who is halal in his intentions, pure, disciplined, and aligned with universal principles of morality. This man doesn't just want you, he honors you. He doesn't just date you, he builds with you. I want you to remember that your attention is your most valuable asset. Do not waste it on someone whose character is bankrupt. Use your social curiosity to filter for excellence. When you raise your character standards, you naturally attract high-character people. You stop being an option for the chameleons and start being a destination for the masters. You are the guardian of your own internal peace. Choose wisely, observe deeply, and never settle for personality when you deserve character. The final truth is that a man of character is self-sustaining. He doesn't need the world to tell him he's great because he is in total alignment with his own internal compass. When you meet a man like this, you will feel a calm certainty. There will be no mixed signals, no microaggressions, and no hidden agendas. There will only be clarity, presence, and peace. This is the end game of people science. It's about finding the real in a world of performative. Trust your gut, trust the cues, and trust the truth. Be honest. Did this speak to you too? Which micro signal have you been ignoring because you wanted to believe in the charm?